Hi everyone, Glen from DLCA TV here again. Welcome Sean Baker today.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Sean's our special guest today. Sean is the head of PEAQ Conditioning, Sean's own S&C company, and Sean looks after all the fitness work, dietary stuff, all sorts of things, health and body related with the DLCA players. So Sean, we'll go back a little bit on your involvement in this occupation, how you became involved with it. So you were a young footballer, a young man interested in physical fitness?
Yeah, I was no good, so that's why I thought I had to try to find something that I was not too bad at and enjoyed the fitness side of things. So transitioned from a player into, I guess, a bit of a strength and conditioning role. It was something I fell into, but wasn't. I was pretty stoked when a few opportunities popped up. I started my work experience at the Port Magpies Football Club. I was lucky enough to be given an opportunity there by Tony Bamford, who I'd sort of met through playing throughout the years. From there, in the last year of my degree, I was lucky enough to score an internship at the Crows in Brendan Sanderson's first year.
Fantastic.
That was under a guru named Nick Paulos, who certainly taught me plenty throughout that year. And finally, I guess the last instalment of the football side of things, I got a call at the end of my 2 years as an assistant at Woodville, saying that the head role at West Adelaide was opened up and they'd love me to have a crack at it. So headed there at the end of 2014 into the 2015 season. So
then we'll move on to cricket. Now, your involvement in cricket basically started here with the DLCA.
Yeah.
You and I met through Ironbank Football Club and got you involved here. You were lucky enough to go to India with the boys about 12 months ago, almost 12 months ago.
Yeah.
It's been an unbelievable experience. But also, the role of strength and conditioning in cricket is really important these days. Cricket's gone from an era where blokes smoked 25 and had 6 beers after play every day, to now, you know, they're elite athletes just like footballers and many other sportsmen.
Yeah, it's I guess it's probably an exciting time to be in the strength and conditioning industry, especially in the cricket area at the moment, because it's something that's really developing. Like you said, in years past, most blokes have just got through off of skill.
Yep.
And touching on that India experience as something, to be honest with you, that is still kept up a little bit there. There's still a lot of guys that don't really have too much of an idea about sort of sport-specific strength and conditioning over there. Their idea of getting fit is just running a few laps around the boundary before training sessions, and then they'll just sit in the nets for hours on end.
Sounds all right to me.
Yeah, it does. Well, when you think it, probably with most sports at the moment, unless you're a marathon runner, most of your team sports, whether it's football, cricket, rugby, there's a lot of high intensity, short, sharp efforts.
Yep.
Whether you're well, that's it, that burst. So I guess really trying to change that mentality of, first of all, no conditioning at all, but also for those that were doing conditioning, changing from that just sort of go for a slow jog for a little while to high intensity, short burst, get as fast as we can and be able to repeat that effort time and time again. Because I guess, especially now that we've got access to GPS data of fast bowlers and
pretty inexpensive these days too. The GPS data pretty much available to anyone, not just the elite clubs these days. So
that's it.
People can track their own movement and fitness, you know, during games and training. One last thing I was going to ask you about was your business, PEAQ Conditioning.
Yeah.
Now you basically, your aim is to bridge that gap between the community and club level sportsmen and the elite guys. A lot of people who are at that lower level who don't get access to what the top end guys and girls get. So that's really your aim, is to try and give those people the best that they can get. Yeah,
and I guess like the slogan we've come up with is closing the gap between local and elite. So you summed it up pretty well, to be honest with you. I guess it is hard to get everybody in for sort of one-on-one sessions, so we've developed an online system where people can come in and fill out a really a pretty in-depth questionnaire. All of those answers get sent through to me personally, or another trainer of mine, Luke. We sit down and we go through every one of those questions and take them quite seriously. So it goes into things, obviously, your normal height, weight, age, what sport do you play, what sort of role do you have in that sport. We really want to be able to give people some professional programs and have that access to sort of elite level programs without having to go out to the the clubs or be selected for the club.
And in reference to the DLCA, who's been the fittest bloke that you've seen in the 2 years that you've been involved here?
Well, that's a tough question. I would have to say this year there's been some really good running. Probably without comparing them directly, just off the top of my head. In the first year here, I think Shane Snyder, who's also been interviewed by yourself,
Shane.
and Don Best were probably two of the standouts last year. This year we had Harry Adair and Arthur Godsall. So those guys are all quite fit blokes, all actually Pommy guys, I think, and I think they'd had that
they're mostly
exposure.
coming from somewhat of a high performance environment though previously, and so that's sort of more emphasises really what PEAQ is about too, because you want guys and girls to be able to get to those levels of fitness and conditioning if you don't necessarily have access to to those guys.
For sure.
All right, Bakes, thanks for joining us today, mate.
No worries, thank you very much for having me.
Been a pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
Check out Sean's Facebook page, PEAQ Conditioning Facebook page.
That's it.
There's links on there to the website and everything that you can do on there. Sign up, check out his programs. Look out for the DLCA on Twitter at DLCA, and check out the new website, dlca.com.au. Thanks everyone, see ya.
Catch up.